Ewo Esan egbe fún ààrẹ lẹ́gbẹ̀rẹ̀. Eji Maria Javoto Nagbon egbe fún ààrẹ. Enijerere noriwo person ato hale egbe fún ààrẹ lẹ́gbẹ̀rẹ̀. Enijeri mare hio egbe fún ààrẹ ato hale. Maintenant, on m'en est sans bielle. Mais actually, aigbe erodave okosun. On m'en aigbe, on m'en aigbe. Audience out there, I greet us all in accordance to our various time across the globe. I am by name Aigbe Erodave Okosun. And I also implore you, for those of you that are just coming across this page for the very first time, if you have not followed, press the follow button. Click on the notification button as well as you press the follow button to follow this page, so you will always have a notification each time we make a post. Thank you. Yes, I am bringing before us today, I want to be relating with us concerning very, very important and significant matter that concerns the Esan most especially. Esan sons and daughters at home, Ewo Esan, Ene John ene rebe Esan, rebe ene Jesse Esan, e John rebe Nico Daloren, Ajomo, Olera ne, Onazole, Medajo, Medole Maparo, Osedelena. Esan se yo joy, Odion one, O can say ye, Agunawo, Akaleho, Ajomo, Olera ne. On a surely read Medajo, Medole Matao, Adelenam, Egbefuari, Imigirato, Akan. Yes, I want to talk to us as concerning COLANUT. COLANUT is very, very significant to us Africans, most especially the southern parts of Nigeria. It is said that he that brings COLANUT, or whosoever brings COLANUT, bring peace. Whosoever brings COLANUT brings prosperity. Whosoever brings COLANUT brings success. And it is always said as well that he or whosoever who knows the value of COLANUT, that person is whom COLANUT is given unto. Being that COLANUT is very, very significant to us, spiritually and physically, it is very, very significant to us. And that is why we, the Esan people, we must pay attention and be very, very attentive to the message I am bringing before us this moment. As a matter of fact, let me begin with the Bini people, who has supplemented their supremacy claim, their seniority claim, with code of conduct of COLANUT, which they have always conducted to propagate or to supplement their supremacy claim. You see, it is also within the Bini proverbs on top their supremacy claim that Arasore do Edo Edo Sogoma Edo. For the benefit of those who don't understand that language, let me interpret. In other words, if you get to the Bini home, or if you get to the Bini kingdom, the Benis, they are singing. When the Bini gets to your own home, or your own kingdom, the Benis, they are singing. That is no other thing but supremacy stand, supremacy league, first class league. As a matter of fact, we are no longer in Stone Age. Even in those days, the Stone Age, where knowledge is not vast, people fought, people sought for equality, where one will not be more privileged or one will not be more relevant than the other. We, the Esan people, need to look into this and unfuse ourselves from it, because we are the one that has been subjecting ourselves into this, what is called culture, that is inhuman, ungodly, and barbaric. This, the Bini called culture, which was made up during the Oba dynasty that is alien to us, the Esan people. It was made up and it was imposed, and the Esan people has continued to subject themselves into it simply because we are the backbone behind the oneness the Bini has always propagated. We are the glue behind this oneness. We are the one who has tolerated all manner of disrespect, all manner of underestimating, all manner of shit that has been done to us. We tolerate all this simply because we have always propagated this oneness. We have always stood as a glue to hold the oneness. There is nothing wrong about oneness. But let me continue to give us more details concerning the significance of COLANUT, the dangerous aspects of it, which we, the Esan people, has continuously subject ourselves into, knowing or unknowingly. You see, the Bini said that they are sinning, and when they get to your kingdom, they will ought to break kola, to pray and lead in prayers. And we know fully well that this is not correct. As far as human morale is concerned, it is incorrect. As far as spirituality is concerned, it is incorrect. Within the physical conduct, it is incorrect. And for those of you that are religious, as far as your religion is correct, is concerned, so to say, it is also incorrect. For one who is junior by age to lead, to take COLANUT and break COLANUT, to lead and pray where there are elderly people. Imagine this in my Esan land or outside my Esan land, where we are gathered for any cultural event or for any festive event. It will take a Bini person to break COLANUT and lead in prayers where there are elderly men with grey hair, where there are senior, those that are most senior or more senior to him. As far as they are concerned, the Benis, it does not matter whether that person that is coming to pray with COLANUT is 20 years of age or 10 years of age. In as much he is the only Bini person that is available there, that qualifies him to break COLANUT. That is supremacy league. That is first class league. That is most relevant league. We are no longer in Stone Age where we should continue to subject ourselves to such inhuman, ungodly, and barbaric made-up culture. The Benin has always propagated this upon the Esans simply because we, the Esans, we are the one that continue to subject ourselves into this. They cannot go to Okomu in Ijo land in Okomu, there in Edo State, and say that they must lead to pray and be the one to break kola simply because they are Benin. The Ijo people will not tolerate it from them. It is us, the Esan people, that has always continued to propagate or to fuse ourselves into this. We must look into this so that stop will be put to it. As a matter of fact, if it is really a culture, there are some cultures that need not to be continued. Some cultures need to be eradicated. In this era of vast knowledge, some cultures need to be appropriated if needed. We also have the Fulani herdsmen, who it is culturally to them to take their cattle around. It is their culture to take their cattle around, to go and feed their cattle around. But being that we are now in area of vast development and vast knowledge, a lot of us have seen it necessary and deemed it fit for Hausa Fulani people not to be taking their cattle all around, because there are now schools that are built in those places that were formerly forests before. There are now houses that are built in those places that was formerly forest before. You know, the schools, you have children schooling, you have people schooling. Imagine if you are taking your cattle all over the places. Imagine if you're taking your cattle into the farmland where there was no farm before. These days, we now have a lot of farming in those places. So the reason of that, we deem it fit to say there is time. The time has come where this culture needs to be appropriated. There need to be ruga. There need to be places where cattle are kept and reared, not to continue to take cattle into people's farm. But if you look at it holistically, it has been the culture of the Hausa Fulani people to take their cattle around. But we are calling for a stop. We are calling for an adjustment towards that. The adjustment is that we are not saying you should not rear cow, but there should be an adjustment towards that culture. You should have ruga where you rear your cattle. So as a matter of fact, this kind of culture that the Esan people has been the one that has continued to fuse themselves and subject themselves into this culture, we need to put a stop to it. I want you to share this message to any Esan person you know. Do not just share the message on your Facebook page and look at your Facebook page, your Facebook friends that are Esan, share it to them so that they will be awoken from this slumber. It is not enough to be awoken. There are some people that are awoken from bed, but while they wake up, they are still on their bed. They did not step out of their bed because they are afraid of all the storms. They are afraid of attack. So, but they are awoken. There are a lot of people that are awoken because of this fear. They are not speaking up. They are still sleeping on their bed. They are still lying on their bed, being that they are even awoken. And there are people who are also awoken, irrespective of the storm, irrespective of the trap, irrespective of the attack they know they are going to get when they step up out of their sleeping bed. They don't care. They jump out of their sleeping bed and they go about with their daily activities. That is why I am waking us to get up of our sleeping bed, to be fully awoken, for us to liberate ourselves as Esan people. Now, our Esan people, we should look into this. If we continue to subject ourselves to it, we have put a curse on ourselves. It is like heavy weight. It is like bone na lu na re gbe wan noa ogbunu ki gbe wan noa ogbunu ya gbe wan noa ise ogbunu ya gbe wan noa ise. When we continue to subject ourselves to this, it is like us subjecting ourselves as less relevant people, as second-class people. It is an aberration for you as an Esan man. You are having an event in Esan land and outside Esan land, cultural event or whatever festive event that it is. You will be the one to stand up and be looking for, is there any Edo man here? That is an aberration. That is lopsided against the Esan people. We are by ourselves lopsiding against ourselves. We, as far as we are concerned, we are first class upon the land of our ancestors, upon the land of Africa, soil and land. We are all first class individuals. What it takes for prayers to be led culturally in accordance to our culture in any festive period or in any occasion, it is the elderly person, the most eldest person there. It is not by a particular tribe. If we are propagating that the particular tribe should be the one to come and lead and pray in prayers, lead us in prayer, breaking COLANUT, that is very, very cultural to us. That is having those tribes as most relevant, and while others are less relevant. We are not saying that a Bini man cannot pray, but if that Bini man that is there, he is the most senior amidst everybody that is there, he should be the one to pray. For example, maybe the Bini man that is there is an Odionwere and he is the most senior. He should be the one to pray. Not where my father is seated, that I know fully well that he is the most senior in that gathering. Then a small boy or a young man that is not of the age of my father, that is not of the age of the Odionwere that we have there, he will be the one to come and pray. We, the Esan people, do you know what we have done? We have subject ourselves. We have reduced ourselves spiritually and physically. And this is why we must break this kind of yoke that we have fused ourselves into. It is a call. It is a clear call to the Esan people to put a stop to this kind of culture that is inhuman, ungodly, and incorrect. Very, very barbaric. As a matter of fact, let us begin to look at this oneness which I talked about in my previous episode. You see, in that Edo state we are today, if we really stand up to push for the creation of Esan state upon Agbazilu, where is Agbazilu today? We have all put all this away because we have been domesticated with Okpa Amadi. The message is not saying we are not one, neither the message is saying we are one. But what the message is saying is that We should not domify ourselves with Okpa. Down to all the southern part of Nigeria, we are all one. We share affinity together. We have similarities and dissimilarities that we share together. Across the southern part of Nigeria, within the western part of Nigeria, we have similarities and dissimilarities that we share together. Iwoke salan kai onos. Esan jole ala jole na su koko. Ama jona su mama iwoke sana. Onas onahe kenimale. So we should not be domesticated with oneness. Where is Agbazilu today? We need to put ourselves together to see how we'll be able to push for the creation of Esan State via Agbazilu. It is not, if for example, let me now give you this analysis, this reference. You and your siblings, you are one simply because of the paternal sheep you share together or the maternal sheep you share together. But after you people have grown to mature people, a mature man, there is need for you people to go your way. Does that really mean separation? Ada saboa su mama shan raude masiko kofo eje okesan. Definitely that your sibling will definitely go and have his own independent home someday. We know fully well that the Deltas, they were formerly part and parcel of the same states that we are still remaining in today. But they did it fit to push for the creation of their states with the help of Ibrahim Babangida, being that Ibrahim Babangida married a better born woman who was born in Asaba. Ibrahim Babangida gave heed to them, listened to them, and gave them their demand. What Stella Obasanjo failed to do, what we the Esan people failed to lobby into via Stella Obasanjo, so that Obasanjo, as at that time, will also listen to us because he also married our daughters. And we, our politicians, will also put weight to it. There is no crime in it. Calling for the creation of your state is not a crime. It is not against the Constitution of Nigeria. In as much as we are not calling for secession, we are not secessionists. It is within our rights. And we should know fully well that in that territorial space where we have only one state, if we have 2 or 3 states inside that place, it's going to create more revenue for us. That is why we should not be domesticated with Okpa or we are one. The whole Yoruba people, they are one, for example, but they have more than 1 state. They have more than 3 states. The Igbos, they are one. They have more than 3 states. The Delta state that was created, Anyoma today, the Anyoma people, they are fighting for the creation of Anyoma state, which is very, very tense and is on the desk of restructuring. The restructuring that has been deliberated upon in Nigeria are also looking into the creation of Anyoma states. So, we the Esan people, how long shall we continue to fuse ourselves into where we know that we can't breathe? Into where we know that the knees of the Bini is upon our throats. We can't breathe. There is need for us to have our independent state so that there will be more revenue into that geographical location, to that territorial area. Does that mean that if we have our state today, we are no longer one? No, we still remain the one that will be propagating. As a matter of fact, let me now go back to Agbazilu and the Kola. First of all, Agbazilu, we need to, our foreigners, the politicians in Esan land, Esan people across the globe, we need to know this, that when you look into that Edo state today, the people that really made Edo state to become what it is, when we talk about politics, the politicians that are influential, that are mainly head of, 90% of them are Esans. That made that Edo state all the way from Bende. If you start listing all the political elites, the influential politicians we have in Esan that are known nationally as far as Nigeria is concerned, they are Esans, 90% of them. So we have to sit down and recalibrate Agbazilu so that we will be able to attract more revenue to that geographical location that is called Edo State today. We cannot continue to sumama ourselves. We cannot continue to choke ourselves. And the COLANUT I'm talking about, we need to put a stop to it, because when you continue to subject yourself to a culture that does not mean well for you, to a culture that is not valuing you, that has devalued you, the essence are being devalued if they continue to propagate that kind of culture that is inhuman, ungodly, and incorrect, barbaric for that matter. We have devalued ourselves. It's a culture that devalued us, where you are not qualified. Except a Bini man is not in that gathering, then it will qualify any Esan man that is the most senior within the Esans to come and pray with Kola and lead. Can't you imagine the devaluation? We have subjected ourselves into devaluation. We need to appropriate all this, and we need to look into it and discuss if there is and see the need for us to have Esan state. Let nobody come and talk us out to say, what do Esan have to create state? Let them leave that for us. Let us look into Bayelsa state. That was created, I think, within 1999. I stand to be corrected as concerning that date. If it was not 1999, I stand to be corrected. Let us look into Bayelsa state. Is Bayelsa state more resourceful than Esan? When you get to Bayelsa land, it is more swampy area. But they deem it fit to stand up from their sleeping bed and pick up the carcasses of themselves to form their independent state. But today, go and look at Bayelsa state. Originally, Bayelsa state is swampy area. They don't have more land. But irrespective of that storm, that which is supposed to be storm to them, they never looked into it. When we look at Ekiti state, look at the landmass of Ekiti state and compare all the Esans, 5 local governments that we say we now have today. By reason of us who played neutral when they were sharing that local government during the creation of Edo State. We played neutral. Ordinarily, Okemwe, Ago, all the way from Eho. Go and check it. The people that are residing there as their aboriginal now, their villages, most of them are Esan. More than 50% of them are Esans. But we played neutral when local government area were being created. So, this time around, we must correct where we play neutral. We must correct the errors, some errors of our foreigners. It is also error for us to take up a particular group of people name to identify our state. That is why they are seeing themselves as most relevant. That is why they are seeing themselves as senior. They can't tell us the father and mother that gave birth to us and gave birth to them as the senior child and gave birth to us as the second child. It is not there. We only came together to coexist, irrespective of our similarities and dissimilarities. So let us begin to look into this and begin to see need for us to dress ourselves properly. To dress ourselves properly. We have all what it takes. Esan is the heartbeat of that territorial area that is now called Edo State today. Esan is the food basket of that territorial area that is now called Edo State today. I am not saying that other tribes and languages don't also produce farm produce, food as well. But Esan is the food basket. Esan is the heartbeat of the state. And when you look at sea that we're talking about, they don't have sea. What they have there is Gele River. But get to Esan. The Osugolo that we're talking about is River Niger. We can have our seaport created there. All the infrastructure, developmental stripe that has been fused into Edo South, like as if Edo South is the only state. We will not be able to at least bring football pitch to Esan land. We will not be able to at least create radio station and television station. We will not be able to at least create airports and all that. But if we continue to subject ourselves to another group of people, we will never be able to rise and shine like the people we are in all actuality. My people, we need to stand up We really need to stand up. Odumare wegbe Oduma Esan. Esan naigbe imare. So let us look into it. This is not division per se, like some people have been propagating. It is only those without rational sense of reasoning, those who always settle and spotted upon their mere emotion and half-baked knowledge, that will interpret what is supposed to liberate us as a people as you are pushing for division. The Delta State people wouldn't have seen any reason to push for the creation of their states. The Anyoma people wouldn't have seen any reason to continue to push for the creation of Anyoma states as well. You go away from your father's house to go and have your own independent house does not mean you and your siblings, you are not the same any longer. I am not saying that we and the Beninese people are the one who gave birth to us. No. But we agree that we share similarity and dissimilarities amidst us. And most especially the people that are more similar to the Esan, and the Esan most similar to are not even the Edos. They are the Esakos. They are the Afemans. They are the Onwas. So that is why we need to look into Agbazilo that Ramudé Ailebetao, Ramudé Bifi. O Van Shoy, Nimerebo Rechoy Bifi Nirera, Ramudon ni Agbazilo, it has it was neglected. So we need to look into all this, Iwo Esan. We really need to be awoken, so that we will be able to shine. And it is also incorrect for we to continue to keep mute when we hear the Bini narrate their history and classify the energies in Esan land with the same level with the Enogies. The energies in Esan land and the Enogies in Edo South are not of the same classification, as a matter of fact. The energies have their independent respective kingdoms they preside over as kings. Energies are not dukes, like the Bini historian online, which we see always call our energy dukes, classify them together with Enogies. Enogies are Oba Palace creation, Oba of Bini creation. Energy are not the making of Oba. You cannot unmake what you did not make. Energy we are not created by Oba. Energies are not dukes, but Enogi are the making of Oba of Bini. Oba of Bini is the one funding the Enogies. Oba of Bini is not the one funding the Enijene Esan, the kings in Esan. The king in Esan, they have their staff of offices. The king in Esan are constitutionally recognized by the states. But the Enogies in Edo South are not constitutionally recognized. They are only recognition and within the palace of Bini and within Edo South. That is why the Enogies that are created by Oba of Bini are not given any staff of office by the state government. So the Enogies, when you hear Enogies, Enige means plural. When you want to say Oj means singular. So when you now have more than one king, we have 35 kings in Esan kingdoms. So that is why we say Enige. The plural is Enige. It was when the Oba created dukes, they now replicated the word Enige and called them Enogies and called their dukes Enogi. Dukes don't have any kingdom they preside over. Automatically, they are answerable to the Oba of Bini. But Enogies, the kings in Esan land, have their respective kingdoms they preside over as kings. The men no one Iwohis, Ojeboy Goje. The kings our kings have to be subjected themselves to a particular king. It is not correct for we to continue to propagate that kind of barbaric culture, inhuman and ungodly culture where you as an Esan man, you ought to be looking for Bini man to come and lead you in prayer. We are relegating ourselves. We have devalued ourselves. We must stand up to the value that we are originally. So, our Esan sons and daughters, we are the one that will put a stop to this by ourselves. There is nobody that will come put a stop to this. If you are having cultural event where the Bini person is, if you do not call the Bini person, or the Bini person is put a stop not to break kola where the eldest man is, or where an elderly person is, the sky will not join the ground. We are the one that has continued to propagate this. So, we need to put a stop to this. I remain my very humble self. I be